Hello and welcome friends. So now friends, in the last section we have completed with the tabs part. Now in this lecture or in this section we are going to learn a very important tool for jQuery user interface, which is a tooltip part. Now what is a tooltip? As the name suggests, a tool and a tip. So a tip for a particular tool. So how to use that tool, what to use and how to fill. This is a part of tooltip. Like in a form is written in a French language and you don't know French, but if a tooltip is given in English, then you can easily fill that form and submit it. So now all these things we are going to learn in this lecture, that how we can use, what are its utilization, where to use and how to implement it. So starting with tooltip and jQuery user interface. The native tooltip is replaced by jQuery user interface tooltip because the jQuery user interface tooltip allows customization and add new themes. So the main part is that it is customized and can add new themes. Tooltips are used with the element to display a title in the title box next to the element. When you edge over the element with your mouse, so whenever you put your mouse on that particular block, then a tooltip will appear that what you have to do or what you have to fill here. If you want to display tooltip, just add title attribute to the input element and the title attribute value will be used as a tooltip. So whenever you declaring any ID, then at last you can use a title here. So the title part will be used at the part of a message which is used as a tooltip for it. Now functionality and syntax of tooltip. The jQuery user interface tooltip method adds tooltip to any element on which you want to display tooltip. It gives a fade animation by default to show and hide the tooltip compared to just toggling the visibility. Now it can be used in two forms, as you all know, $selector, context dot tooltip option method, and the other one is action, params method. Now let's start with the first method. So this is the option method. The tooltip option method specifies that a tooltip can be added to an HTML element. The option parameter is an object that specifies the behavior and appearance of the tooltip. So as you all know, that option basically defines the HTML element, that how it looks and what are the features of this. And one or more options can be used. So as you all know the formula, option 1 putting a colon in between and value 1, putting a comma, and option 2 and n times we can use this. Now here are the list of some options which we can use in the option method of tooltip part. So content. This option is used to represent the content of the tooltip. By default its value is function returning the title attribute. So a content is basically, as you all know, in normal language we say that whatever a thing contain or whatever the data a particular thing contain. So this is the same thing, but in this the title part which we input in the HTML part. So this will be a returning value to that particular content. Disabled. If this option is set to true, it disables the tooltip. By default its value is false. Hide. This option is used to represent the animation effect when hiding the tooltip. The default value of this option is true. So whenever you are hiding the tooltip, a particular animation is required. Otherwise it will look like just a simple tooltip. So this hide part will do this. Items. This option specifies which item can show tooltip. So here there you can just give the solutions like this item can give the tooltip or this, then the tooltip will be visible there. Position. This option is used to indicate the position of the tooltip with respect to the associated target element. By default the value of this option is the function returning the title attribute. So do you want to set the tooltip at the right hand side of your program or at the left hand side of your program? This defines by the position. Show. This option represents how to animate the showing of tooltip. By default its value is true. Tooltip class. This option is AC class which can be added to the tooltip widget for tooltips such as warning errors. By default its value is null. Track. If you set this option to true, the tooltip tracks the mouse. By default the value is false. So a track is basically a mouse click or mouse moving function. Whenever the mouse is moved, it is tracked every time. So this is all about the options part of tooltip method. Now let's use the tooltip functionality by passing no parameters to it. And for this we want to go to our Dreamweaver software. So now friends, we are moving on to our Dreamweaver software to understand the basic functionality of tooltip method, its implementation, its uses and utilization. So now friends, here in front of us is our Dreamweaver software, and in the title part as usual I am giving the tooltip. Now starting with the body part, so I will just go through a program and you will observe that what I am doing, and then I will explain you. So starting with the part, like I have taken a label and I will use for. So for what I am using the label, so I will provide name here. I can use anything, but I am going to use name. So I am giving a message, please enter your name. This is something which I have entered randomly, so you don't be confused about this. This is just to show that what a tooltip can do. So just follow me, and in this way I am just closing the label part. Now let's say I am using a input and I am using the ID as first tooltip 1 in this way, and I will use a title. As I told you that before showing the tooltip method, a title should be required because a title will be the value which is written for this part. So title will be, let's say, please enter your name here. So you can say that this part is a tooltip part. So this is a tool that you are not understanding, and this is a tip for it. So the title part is a tip, always a tip for it. So in this way you can use this, and I am just closing it. Now in the same way I am using, let's say, another ID input, or starting with the part P, which means in a paragraph tag I am using it. I will just close this A, and I will use, let's say, ID input, and the ID will be, or let's use the ID part here only, so AID, and let's say tooltip 2. So this is the second ID, and for this I am giving the title. So title will be submit your form here. So this is the title for it. Now what will I do? I will firstly write submita forma hara in this way, and I will just close it. So in this way I have completed with this part. Now what I have to do is I will just go to the script part. Now remember that tooltip never includes a CSS part, but you can include this if you want to make it attractive. Since there is no need, so I am not using it, but you can easily use it. So script, which means the user interface part. In the coming programs I will tell you that how to use CSS in this. So just script part $, and starting with the function, and I will just open this and open the brace here. Now $, and I will use the first ID, which is the tooltip 1. So hash tooltip 1 in this way dot tooltip, which means the tooltip functionality is provided here. In the same way I will do this for tooltip 2. So $, and hash tooltip 2 dot tooltip in this way, and I'm just closing it. Now I am closing all the braces which I have opened, saving it and going for the output part. So now friends, here in front of us is our output screen, and here you can observe that the message please enter your nama. Now let's say that you don't know this language, whatever this language is, and you don't know, and you have to fill this form. This is not a complete form, I am just giving an example. So what you will do and how the tooltip will help here. So whenever you go inside this block, please enter your name here. So now you can easily enter your name, like my name is Kunal, and I have easily entered this name here. So how easy it is if you are adding a tooltip to every content of a form. So if this part is not understandable to you, like please enter a Nama, this is not your mother language or you don't know it, then if this language is visible or if this part is visible like a tooltip, so please enter your name here. You can easily understand that what is this saying and what you have to do here in this way. Now let's say that you are not understanding that what is this and where to submit this form. So you will click on submita forma here. So submit your form here. Even I don't know that what this language is, I have just taken it randomly, but in this way you can use the tooltip method. So if you don't know that where to submit, and if you just go on it, mouse over, and you will observe that submit your form here, that you can understand that yes, this is a button and here I have to submit this form. So you will just click on it and your form will be submitted. So this is a part, if you are creating any international user interface or a blog or website, then you have to need to do this. So this will help the users to understand this, and this will increase the readability of a user interface or a blog or a website. So now friends, I am sure that you understood the concept of tooltip, that why we are using tooltip, because implementing is very easy, but why we are using and what we have to do to implement it, this is the two basic things which we have to understand. So now we will soon meet in a next lecture with some new content. Thank you for watching this lecture.